Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan McGuire from Third Coast Grappling with my partner Zach.
Little world in
We're we're
isolation.
uh, we're in quarantine land. This is a post-coronavirus, Corona universe
I don't
podcast.
let Ryan anywhere near me.
So we're Zach's quarantine. He's got a new baby on the way. So they're being extra cautious. So we're doing kind of a Corona update. We already recorded this podcast once, but due to technical malfunctions, it went away,
It
and
wasn't the best podcast, so
it wasn't that good. So we can just make it better. But yeah, a lot's been going on, man. The jiu-jitsu world, I mean, the world in general is shutting down. I mean, this coronavirus thing has a lot of people really passionate on both sides. You got people that say it's a hoax, that the cost of just letting it spread versus trying to contain it the way they're doing it outweighs it because of the damage to the economy. I mean, you got oil and gas guys like ready to jump off, like skyscrapers because of oil plummeting below $20. I mean, it's a crazy world we're living in.
yeah. I mean, I had read I saw this post that said Imperial College reports on COVID-19 is available now. Quick highlights: if we treat it like the flu, 4 million Americans will die in the span of 3 months. 90
Yeah, I saw that
million,
too.
yeah, 90 million deaths worldwide, 3 to 6 months. But if we mitigate strategy and quarantine, this cuts the deaths in half to 2 million deaths in Americans in 3 months. But the problem is, if we stop the quarantine, the virus will spread again, just like influenza, and then we have to keep some form of quarantine schedule until vaccination develops. Can you imagine, like every winter, we got to go into quarantine for like a
It'd be
month?
like a hibernation. It's like me. Like, hey, it's
Yeah,
great. It's like being a big bear. Let's go hibernate for the winter. It'd be great.
yeah. It's
No, I'm just kidding. But no,
But
like,
you know what
like,
you know what the positive is I've never seen so many funny memes coming out of
oh
like
man, I've been posting them on the
pe-
Third Coast Grappling
people
page.
been stuck at home. I guess their creative juices are flowing because the memers are on point right now.
They are on point, dude. It was like I was. I've been seeing them, so I just save them on my phone now, and I'm like, I'm just gonna
Yeah,
keep people smiling on our Instagram until we get back into business. So I'm just trying to keep positive
memers
vibes out
and
there.
people doing jujitsu by themselves. It's pretty sad. I've been
Man,
seeing
like
so much
I
like
guess look, what made it funny is that like in jujitsu, like a lot of people, jujitsu's their life. It's the jujitsu
I see
lifestyle. That's all
people
they know.
arm barring chairs. Like it's getting bad out there. Like
Uh,
like people are. I need to jujit something.
I feel them though, Zach. Like I almost set the mats up at the
I
house today.
well, like okay, so from Professor Brandon told us one time, like if you get injured, then work what you can't or what you typically don't get to work. Like okay, for a boxer, for example, you break your right hand, you're gonna work your jab and get a really good jab, and just
Yeah,
work that jab, work that jab, work that jab. So this should be an opportunity for people to work on strength, work on running, getting your cardio up, like all the stuff you negate because you're too focused on technique and jujitsu. Get better at those right now, and then when you come back, everybody else has been not doing a lot of jujitsu too.
guilty,
So
guilty.
utilize this opportunity to like work on the things that maybe allow you to do jujitsu better, like flexibility, strength, the cardio. Like work on all that stuff. Like you don't have to do arm bars on chairs.
It just sucks though. I didn't get into jujitsu to have to go work out. Like I got into jujitsu because I hate going to the gym, and I realized that. So it's not like,
Well, you
oh
can't
well,
go to the
jujitsu's
gym.
out.
You can't go to the gym. So
I mean, just in general, like, oh hey, jujitsu's out. Just go do some individual plyometric exercise. It's like, no, that
yeah,
sounds
but you didn't
fucking
just get into
awful.
jujitsu to stay in shape too, right? And it gets
Yeah,
to the point where to be better at training, you need to work on other aspects. Like going to the gym, working on strength is to so you are can train better in jiu-jitsu. That's
yeah.
what the focus should be is like, it's really fun to do jiu-jitsu, but it's not fun only being able to do a limited amount of jiu-jitsu because your cardio shot after two rolls.
hmm
So if you want
But
to do
hey,
more
guys, those first two
jiu-jitsu,
rolls though, I can tap anybody. I don't care who you
those
are.
two
Give me
rolls.
those first two rolls. I'm a world
All
champion.
right,
But after
tell
that,
that to
it's all.
Gordon. Anybody? You said?
Huh?
They said anybody.
Anybody. No, I'm just kidding. But so I guess let's just get into it, man. Like, so a lot of the stuff that we're seeing play out now is thanks to good people around us. Some of the advice and some of the foresight we had. we kind of were prepared for this. And so when we made our decision to limit our card to Texas competitors at the time, there wasn't there was hardly any cases. It was kind of like a containment like measure for us. Like, hey, if we can do our part right now, we don't know what's going on, but if we can limit people flying in from these hot spots that have become national disasters, Florida, New York, California, internationally,
I heard NBA took note from us.
Do what?
The NBA took note from us. They were like,
yeah,
I heard their coach Grappling took down they're out of towners. So.
Yeah, but as soon as that happened, guys, you saw a lot of people didn't like our decision, people supported our decision. It's just as split as you see the argument worldwide. People are either this way or that way. So it's a very kind of contentious time in America where people are very passionate about an issue, but they're very drastically seeing the issue differently because of, whatever, personal bias, however things play into it.
I still see a lot of people thinking that it's like a complete hoax. It's just a little bit nuts, but I see people posting stories at bars and stuff. I'm like, are you crazy?
What are you doing?
I just read something that it said that the air particles from a cough can last for 3 hours.
Jesus.
So you go to a grocery store, somebody else was there, they coughed all over, the item that you're picking up, then you can definitely get it. And then you not have symptoms and then give it to somebody else.
I think the issue is not us. They're saying that millennials, they'll get their
No, it is us that are spreading it. And the more it spreads, because even healthy people, I think I read that even healthy people still need intensive care. They're surviving, but they still need intensive care. 20% of them still need to go to the hospital. And if the hospital is overloaded, 80 and over, it's 100% need intensive care. But if the young people that get it, 20% of those people that get it still need intensive care. They're going to live, but we're overloading the hospitals. Yeah, and then what about the people that break their arm and regular stuff that they need medical care for, and you can't get it? What we're looking at is, right now in the hospital, you can only have one visitor, and that person can't come and go. So we're already planning on doing a home birth, which kind of works out perfectly. We did one for Sage. We're doing one for this birth too. But if there's something that happens where we need to go to the hospital, well, then we need to have plans for childcare for our son, because I can't leave the hospital and take care of the son, nor can he stay with us at the hospital.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, I think the are we ready? Everyone can go about their lives and continue to spread it, and old folks, but that's going to increase the amount of people that are in hospitals, and that's going to overload our hospital staff. They're going to get it, and they're not going to be able to treat people because they're needed to be treated as well. And it also increases chances of long-term, even if you're healthy, long-term lung damage and respiratory issues.
This too. You see over in Italy, they're saying if you're basically over 70 years old and you have coronavirus, you're basically going to die.
They're stopping. They're not even treating them anymore. They're having to choose who to treat or not, just because they don't have the resources available. And we're still 2 weeks behind what Italy was at. Hopefully, we're a little bit ahead with the shutdowns.
I saw some cool type graphics where it's they have these little dots, and the dots, they showed the impacts of social distancing and what it does to you'll see it bouncing around here, and then just how quickly it spreads, the exponential growth. So what everybody's doing right now, it sucks, but I still think we're not even doing enough. I see so many people out on the streets and going to work.
Yeah. If you're interacting with even people that's the problem. Is it's not I trust this person or his family. You don't know what they've had contact with, and they don't know. You know what I mean? So it's really just stay with your family unit for 2 weeks, and then as long as you have stayed away from everybody for 2 weeks, and let's say somebody else that has been as disciplined and stayed away from everybody for 2 weeks, and they're both still good, then you can start integrating those two groups. But if you go out to the grocery store, well, your 2 weeks restarted. You know what I mean? You have to, which for people in Houston shouldn't be anything weird. How long were people in their house during Harvey? We're so used to hurricanes and being stuck in the house. It shouldn't be that crazy, but Um, some people have it better than others, of course, with what they have.
But the economic impact now. I mean, even to our business, like after I was trying to slim the event down because when we had the foresight we did,
our team too.
We were trying to make an event that we could possibly still make go on. Because could you imagine if we had to cancel it the day before people flew in for weigh-ins?
Yeah, and people were still saying we were trying to do some kind of money grab. We were making zero money from the new event. We're planning on making money from the original event with the original people. When we're doing the new event I can't hear you anymore.
Sorry, I had to yell at the child real quick. My bad.
Sorry, I said with the new event, we were just trying to break even, put on a good event to make sure people were still getting what they wanted in a time where a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff was. So it was no money grab by us trying to still put on an event. We're really just trying to break even.
I think that's what we're doing. Like people don't know us if they think that's what. It's just stupid.
We are a for-profit business. So in order to maintain a business, in order to continue to put on shows better, drive costs down by buying more equipment, guess what? You got to make a profit, which we've never tried to make a profit. That's the whole point of a business. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're a charity, and your profits go to charity. It's a nonprofit, but people still get salaries and all that through nonprofits too. But that was not our intent with trying to salvage the event with what we had left. And unfortunately, this didn't just hurt us; it hurt our staff. It hurt our people that we work close with and rely on our events as well. For sustainable income. And unfortunately, the freelance industry, the restaurant industry, all of those are really hurting right now because everyone's staying inside.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you see like a lot of our friends like Nava, Hasana, DJ Scritch, a lot of our people that are part of Team 3CG are basically just saw their work. Like me, for instance, like we just saw basically, I'm basically unemployed until we're able to throw events again. So that's why I've been out there trying to build up, trying to get play different angles here. But it's affected, I have a lot of musician friends, and like it's basically to the point now those guys are like we're a lot of us, play live gig to gig sometimes. Like, so I don't know, it's devastating to a lot of people. And for us, we just tried to salvage a good card, and it is what it is, man. People are going to have their opinions on our business. At the end of the day, we know the spreadsheets, we know the numbers, we know what's real, we know what's not real. And as long as we know, and our people around us know that what we're trying to do is the best for our business and the community, and our hearts are always in it, then that's all that matters. I don't care. I mean, we didn't get into business for people's opinions that have been in the business for 20 years trying to tell us how to do things. We got in here to try to do things differently on our own. And, but we've appreciated their advice, but it's just, we're getting back to what got us started and got us here in the first place. And that's just focusing on us, innovating, doing cool stuff, and going down the road. That's all we can do.
What do you miss the most about not, like out of all the stuff that we had planned for the 3CG4, what were you looking forward to the most? Was it Lucas versus JT? Was it the Grappling Royale? Was it the tag team?
It was a combination, man. Like I was looking forward to the whole card. Like I told you, I poured my heart and soul into it. It was like the best card I've ever put together. I mean, it was innovative. There was even down to the way I scheduled the matches. Like it was scheduled for prime, like live audience. Like we did the Tacket Challenge and then the Grapple Royale right after. That's like overload, Like people are like, what is going on? So like I had it built in such a way that it was going to be the best thing I think that grappling had ever seen. And for it to happen, all the time hours I spent away from my family and working on content and doing all the different stuff we did for this event. I mean, for somebody to come and say that we moved the card because we were trying to, because we were having money problems or whatever. Even if that was the case, which it's not, like you're gonna bash us for not throwing a show and stiffing the fighters. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, even if it were true, which it's not, it's like you're gonna write an article scathing us for not fucking the fighters over. Thank you.
No, I mean, we were definitely in worse positions when we first started out, when we had no money. It's not easy to put on a grappling event. I think we've done a good job of being able to maintain profitability, putting on big cards, and a lot of it's come to some ingenuity and taking ideas that I've experienced, you experienced from other industries, to try to increase the revenue streams. And it is what it is. Doesn't really matter. And pretty much everybody's going to be hurting. Every sporting event. I mean, there's billions of dollars that go into a lot of these sporting industries, and they ain't getting any money. So those athletes ain't getting any money.
Like, you think the NBA's going to hurt? Like, look at the small businesses like us. Like we're basically said, hey, if you guys didn't have balls, and if you guys weren't creative enough, like, this would bankrupt most of them businesses, like, at least in our stage,
Yeah.
But I think
the NBA is going to go straight to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're equipped for the.
Oh no, you didn't hear my switch. Do you think the NBA is going to go straight to the playoffs?
Are they really?
No, that's what I'm asking you.
They should.
That's probably what they're going to have to do, right?
No, I mean, they said the whole season. Like, how can you go to the playoffs if no games were played? Like, the teams don't have a record.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's just get a champion by having a full.
Like, have sudden death games. Like, play one game.
Yeah, doing a whole bracket. Like, this is our season. It's one bracket. You got one game per. You gotta win every game out.
Their seasons are gone. Did you hear about
how awesome would that be if they did that? Like,
I don't know.
They decided the championship by just doing one large bracket, the entire league bracket, to narrow it down to the final two. Dude, every game would be so intense.
I don't know when this country we're going to be allowed to have tens of thousands of people again in a stadium, because if we're going the way, look at San Francisco. They're basically locking down the whole city. Like, people have to stay home.
Reserve units are mobilizing right now. Like,
yeah, I think that's going to happen nationwide.
I mean, it could be that they need to help support, right, bring supplies, that kind of thing. But it'll also be like, in the Sherman Act and introducing martial law. Who knows? Like, certain countries have gotten to that level. So
it's the ultimate. Like, this would be like House of Cards. You ever watch the show House of Cards?
Oh yeah.
It's like one of my all-time favorites. But like, this is
except the last season was kind of weak. But.
Like Francis gives, him and his wife, they release a virus in China to skew voter suppression against their opponent. And
do you know how much coordination and that would take to pull something like that off? Like, man. I mean, the conspiracy theories are fun because you're always like thinking outside of what the official story is, and it's fun to be in the know of a secret that nobody else knows. But realistically, and used to work for the government and understanding just people in general, the coordination involved is just too much for anybody to pull it off. Like,
but I mean, you also can look at like the proxies and different people that are that are doing their bidding out in other countries and all this stuff. Like the stuff around like the Wuhan lab, and we have a lab just like the one in Wuhan right here in Galveston. It's the same level of security.
Oh yeah. It's got like every known disease.
Yeah, like the worst of the worst. Like, that's
I think
where
Joe
they
Rogan had a show, Joe Rogan Questions Anything, where he like toured that facility.
Yeah, I mean, and it's legit, man. Like, that stuff is. I mean, you could just think that maybe they're out there kind of developing something for population control or this or that or the other. It's hard to accidentally release something from there. It's not like, there's guards. There's all kinds of.
That's how the book, the Stephen King book, The Stand. Have you ever read that book?
Uh-huh.
It's basically super flu gets out of a Air Force base, and the guy drives and he coughs on a cop, and that cop gets it and gives it to a businessman that's going to a conference, and it spreads from there. And basically 95% of the world population dies from this super flu. And the book is everybody that's left, and they're all like traveling, and then it ends up like all the evil people end up in Vegas and all the good people end up in Colorado, and they end up having a war, like, and the devil's behind it and all that stuff. They're the Man in Black but it's a great book. It's one of Stephen King's best books, but it's super applicable to right now.
No, yeah, that's great. So what do you think is the future? What is the future for for our industry, what's coming up. I mean, we've talked about the spectatorless thing we're working on right now.
Well,
I'm gonna.
I think industries that are really going to thrive right now are streaming services, food delivery services.
Food delivery's killing it.
Yeah, toilet paper industry is killing it. But I think it's going to be a lot of like, let's say, spectatorless sports. They're going to charge, like the NBA could totally put on NBA games and then just charge people $20 per person or whatever, like pay-per-view basically style for their games. That's what it could turn into. Or you have to buy the NBA subscription, right? NBA subscription package for streaming all NBA games. And if you don't get it, but I mean, I don't know how that works with their current contracts with like CBS and NBC and all that stuff, but yeah. That's where it could go. That's where they could say, we can't trust that many people getting together, so basically need to get that profit through streaming services.
Like my issue right now, I'm kind of been having a conundrum over the 3CG Underground thing I'm working on with Joe. We're trying to do, like, if all the gyms are closed and nobody's training and we're out there still trying to put on like competitive grappling events, and we're trying to keep it under 10 and do it all safe. I don't even know if it's like, as much as I want to do it, I keep going back and forth on even if it's something we should do in the current climate.
The problem is you're still mixing people together that you don't know where they could be spreading it to, everybody that they come in contact with doing.
Yeah, I'm having issues with it. I can't decide on if I want to go through with that or not. So I'm going to kick it around some more. I know we've got Dash called me today too and was like, hey, I got this spot downtown Houston. We're setting up my streaming equipment, some lighting. If you guys want to come over here, you can do that too, because I'm working with some of my musician friends right now, trying to do some live streaming concerts or this, that, and the other, and just
that's what I'm saying. I think there's certain industries that are definitely going to thrive from this. Streaming services are going to be definitely one.
Yep.
Food delivery, food service, food
house cleaning businesses.
What's that?
The house cleaners, housekeepers.
Yeah, housekeepers. If you want them to break your quarantine by bringing them in.
People have been cleaning everybody else's nasty ass house, comes in yours.
Right, like you can't be like, don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
No, man, but so I guess what's coming up next for us is we're regrouping, getting re-geared up. This is we got to see a lot of things over these past few weeks with all this. It was like unprecedented. Like I told Zach, I've never been involved in anything like this before.
Well, nobody really has. This is unprecedented times. So
yeah. So I think we handled it the best we could. We stated our case. We have nothing to hide. We have nothing to sit here and try to conceal.
Well,
like you think we're out here getting rich off this business?
The three people it was really like only a couple people that attacked us, besides the rando trolls. They're always gonna have trolls, but and they've all actually come back and apologized. So it doesn't really matter. We're speaking to a couple of people, and for the most part, everybody was supportive, and we appreciate everybody that was supportive of our tough decision, because it was a tough decision that we had to make, and it's a tough decision that every business has had to make some kind of decision on what they're doing to help or try to mitigate what's going on right now. So we're no different than anybody else. We had to make a tough decision. We made it. Whether we were right or wrong, in the end, doesn't really matter, because we still don't know if we're right, and we still don't know if we're wrong. So,
right. Each day that goes by, it shows that we made the right decision, and we led from the front like we normally like to. Like we normally do take tough stands and make tough decisions, and we stand by them for better or for worse. So I'm happy with the decision we made, and I think rather than canceling fully, imagine the speculation then, we cancel the whole event, everybody expect. It's just we were trying to find a middle ground and work within the confines of the deal, even to the last minute. With the Texas edition card before we had to shut it down.
We were literally driving, all of us. The entire team was on a conference call. We're all driving I was driving the hotel to book some hotels for people. And then I was going to go to the weigh-ins after that. But we're like on our way to the weigh-ins, and we had to make that decision based off of...
Because the new guidance came down.
Yeah, the guidance came down. We had talked to the venue, like all that, and we're like, we didn't want it to like basically get to the venue or get to the weigh-ins and then make everybody weigh in and then have to make a decision later. We're like, we got to tell everybody, we got to make an announcement now. We got to, because that was before the weigh-in, so we had to like stop what we were doing, sit down. We knew people were traveling in from places, so we had to try to get the message out to them as soon as possible so they didn't waste their time. Well, unfortunately, some people still were at the weigh-ins, and they made weight, I'm sure, but we tried to stop it as soon as possible to make it better for everybody.
With all that was going on, like there was some guidance that came down to the MMA guys and the athletic commission. Texas State Athletic Commission came down and was like, hey, we're canceling these events, we're doing all that. So that was because we're not governed by any athletic commission, but if we were, it would be the Texas State Athletic Commission. So that's why I kind of took that advice, coupled with our internal advice that's been advising us the whole time, on top of the new caps on 250 people and having to get fighters to cut purses to make it work, and like it was just too much. And so we had to make the call, because rather than go pick up everybody's ticket money and do all this other stuff and then have to, it was just like, it was the best decision for the business. It was the right decision. It was a very tough decision, but we did everything we could to try to make it work. So
yeah, I mean, even like any tough decision, you still, even after, like, did we make the right decision? It's still, you're like,
every day though, I think it shows me more and more that we did make the right decision. And it angered people at the beginning, because we came out in front of this when people still thought coronavirus was bullshit. Like, people were like, fucking coronavirus, you fucking fraud, you fucking this, and everybody's fresh after the Substar stuff. They're all rattled over not getting paid. And then, so I'm very sympathetic to that. I can look at the situation and realize, hey, I could have easily got caught up in that too if I was on the other side. So I have no hard feelings for anybody. Look, you can jump to assumptions, you can do this and that, but I hope this event and everything that's going on, it just teaches everybody to, hey, we're all just trying to, do our part to further the sport. Nobody's trying to fuck anybody over, and we're just trying. Nobody's getting rich quick off of this. I mean, maybe Seth is, but I don't even think he's getting rich. He said he took such huge losses last year, so it's tough. And we do this at sacrifice for ourselves to give the athletes a platform to share their talents with the world, because we believe in the sport, we believe in the athletes, and that was on your nose. What the fuck was that? But yeah, I mean, we do this for the sport, for the love of it, man, and that's all there is to it. So everybody's reached out, been supportive, checked on us. Look, we've got some cool things in the works. May 16th is our new rebook date. We're not going to rebook the card as it is, or as it was. We're going to reflect, book the card to reflect where we're at now as a business and as a community, and also the people that have really rode with us from day one. We want to make sure that they've gotten good opportunities. The Tackett's, Cody Steele, Jordan Holly.
One thing about being in the kind of entertainment business is, you imagine whenever people are starting to go out, like, people are going to come out in droves because they're trying to get out of the house. And
people are trying to give themselves alcohol poisoning as soon as bars open again. I might be right there with them. Who knows?
I guess Galveston County, it still allows bars, because I just see the videos of like
Kemah and Galveston.
I'm like, what are people doing? Bro. What are people doing?
Spring break, the beaches are like packed. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. So like, you don't want to swim in Galveston water, number one, and then you're going to do that in the middle of a pandemic. Like, I don't know. People aren't thinking right. But yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, guys. But we're moving forward. We've got a lot of good people behind us. Got a lot of good momentum. This has given us a chance to really take a step back, look at our business, look at the industry, and look how we're going to fit in after all this dust clears, and just keep on putting on quality shows and trying to do the best we can, which is throw awesome events and always pay our athletes. Because at this point, you can say what you want about us, but there's a 100% next to about $300,000 worth of fighter pay, and that's us always paying our athletes. So people can say what they want, but you'll always get paid if you fight for us.
Yeah, that's $300,000 more than I've gotten. So
yeah, and like $400,000 more than I got. So I'm just kidding. But, all right, guys, that's a short episode. We just wanted to kind of get in here, talk what's going on. Stay vigilant, keep doing your part to manage the spread and prevention, and practice wash your hands, social distancing. I told Zach, I was like, I've been doing social distancing my whole life, so this is awesome.
Eventually these freaking chairs are going to start fighting back, and they're going to start arm barring people back. So be careful with the home furniture that you're practicing jiu-jitsu, because they learn.
And that's our buddy Jordan Pietzman from Subspectrum. He's super cool guy. He's the one that's been all those viral videos.
I see like people like doing jiu-jitsu with like pillows with gis on. Like it's getting hairy out there. People got to jit something.
I get entertained every time I go on there. It's ingenious, some of this stuff. Like the guy was like, the guy did a twister on a fucking like a dinner chair. like I was like, what? Like it's pretty.
It
cool,
all started
man.
with Tex breaking the bat.
Yeah, I mean everybody's inspired. Like, and look at all these like these big names that are out there giving tons of free content away. Like right now is a good time to be stuck inside, watching a bunch of jiu-jitsu.
We're going to watch a lot of jiu-jitsu right now because there is a lot of
free shit.
I mean, you even see Renzo Gracie like.
Donner he did like a free solo drills DVD.
Yeah,
like
all of them are doing like crazy. I mean, some good shit out there right now. So take advantage.
Pay attention, up your game, your mental game, and if you can train, you got a garage gym, whatever.
I watched some lapel encyclopedia, some Gubber Guard stuff today. So watch out.
Yeah, I'm really scared, Zach, of your Gubber Guard. That's what I'm watching out for.
Well, you only pull guard. You never try to pass, so you'll never experience it.
I was really lazy and fat. I was injured for like 8 months. My fucking shoulder kept coming out of socket, so I had to take some time off.
Guess what Ryan's going to do? He's going to pull guard. That's even with all that wrestling practice, still pull guard.
I'm a pretty good wrestler, too. So I'm going to come back, start hitting that hard. I want to work on my top game, get my conditioning up, and then actually go give it a go in a competition. Or if we end up in the UK fighting on a tag team match. We gotta.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck that's gonna go, but we've got a lot of August is still potentially for LA, depending on things. So we still got a lot of good stuff playing, guys. We just gotta let this stuff kind of air out, let the shoe fall where it may, and look after your families and stuff first. But we're coming back hard. We're gonna be better than ever. So stay tuned. Why did my voice just crack there? Did you hear that?
You're going through puberty. Rona Peru.
Sorry, guys. Puberty and quarantine. Peace.